So the next group of molecules we want to discuss are called carboxylic acids. So as their name implies, carboxylic acids are in fact acids, so we'll discuss them more when we get to the acid section in May. So carboxylic acids have this general form. Okay. If you want to show the bond between the oxygen and hydrogen here, that's perfectly okay, but it's also standard not to. So if you'll see in this molecule, kind of like with aldehydes, a carboxylic acid group has to be on the end of a carbon chain. Because on one side of the carbon-oxygen double bond, you have a carbon chain, but the other end terminates, okay? So kind of like aldehydes, you won't need to number carboxylic acids, okay? Because it's understood where the group is, it must be on the end of the chain. So there's really, we can underline this, IC acid, okay? And that'll help us name here. So let's just dive into one. So the first step is recognizing that this is a carboxylic acid and not an ester, so it has an OH adjacent to the carbon double bonded to the oxygen. So the next step, like always, hopefully you're getting used to, is count the carbon chain. 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. So I have BUT. There are only carbon-carbon single bonds, so I say AN. So then I add the ending OIC space acid. Okay. So if up here you want to write OIC acids, it's fine. Okay. Let's look at another one. So here there are, first we have to recognize the carboxylic acid, which hopefully we can do. Then we say there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. So I say hex. There are only carbon-carbon single bonds, so I say AN. And I put OIC space acid. Okay. So these are pretty simple to name. You should remember the rule and remember how to recognize a carboxylic acid. Okay. So let's go ahead and do one in the opposite direction. So pentanoic acid. Okay. So pent tells me a 5-carbon chain. So even if you're unsure, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, unsure of how to draw a structure, you can kind of do it piece by piece. You can get there, or get close to the correct answer at least. So pent, you have a 5-carbon chain. So if you don't know what the anoic acid means, at least get the carbon chain correct. Okay. The AN tells me only carbon-carbon single bond, so I've done that correctly. The OIC tells me there's a carboxylic acid present, or here's a carboxylic acid, so I do this. I do that, now it's carboxylic acid. Or I can do this. Okay. So those are the same compounds. Okay, I just flipped one in the opposite direction. So either way you want to do that, both of those correspond to the same structure. Okay. So carboxylic acids are fairly easy to name. You shouldn't have any trouble with these as long as you keep straight how to recognize them and what the proper ending for the molecule is.